it's a pre-built program. And so you can't go in and rewrite the language or train the AI in any sort of a different way.
So when someone lands on the landing page, are you immediately collecting information, name, email, phone number? When do you collect that data from the customer?
Not only can you collect the basics of name, number, email, maybe even company name if you're selling B2B, but we like to ask some custom qualifying questions as well. As you mentioned, you want qualified leads, not just people that are actually, just trying to exchange a business card or have a coffee with you and then try to reverse sell you on their stuff.
How are you managing that data and for that client? Are you putting them into long-term nurture campaigns? Like, what does that look like? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, we've got Zach Hesterberg in the building. I was actually chatting with Zach the other day because I'm looking to elevate my business services. And this guy knows his freaking stuff. We're going to be talking about AI lead generation today. We're going to be talking about how you can sell more stuff. All right. And how we can use AI, ads, that sort of thing to make it happen. Zach, welcome to the show, bro.
Mark, appreciate you having me, man. Love your energy, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, man. It's all the caffeine, right? And by the way, this is kind of interesting. I've started waking up much earlier in the day. I've always told myself, Mark, you're not a morning person. You're a night owl. And I've always told myself that, but I recently started waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, bed at 9, up at 5. And when I've tried this in the past, I would try to meditate in the morning because that's what Tim Ferriss does. I would just fall asleep.
Yeah, I've tried the same.
I would just fall asleep. I'm like, this is a waste. So what I started doing is reading in the morning. Right now I'm reading the Bible, which obviously it's, 2,000-year-old document, most sold in history. There's probably some wisdom in there. So I've been reading the Bible in the morning and I just feel energized after that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to try to do the same. And then I would find that I'd fall asleep while reading. It didn't matter, by the way, if it was the Bible. Normally for me, it is the Bible as well. But I would usually fall asleep as I was reading it. And so now my routine is wake up usually around the same time, around 5, but I go to the gym first, get the blood flowing, then I come back and I'm a little bit more awake and rejuvenated in order to be able to read and actually be able to comprehend what I'm reading.
Dig it. Well, I think finding that consistency, finding what works for you is important. And, I just feel like waking up earlier helps me get more deep work in because the problem I was having is if I'm going to bed late, like at 12 o'clock, let's say I used to do 12 to 8, going to sleep at 12, waking up at 8. But the problem that I found was that by the end of the day, by 8 o'clock, by 9 o'clock, my mind is mush. I got nothing left. The kids have drained me. And so I end up spending 3 hours of garbage time. And by moving that garbage time to the beginning of the day, it just has worked out a lot better. So I'm telling you, breathe life into yourselves, people. That morning, I think, is where the money is at. All right. So Zach, let's kind of pick, you and I have already chatted about this, but tell me a little bit, just tell me in a nutshell, what do you do so we can start to kind of go through this process of booking more appointments of qualified leads. I don't want the unqualified leads. I don't want to meet for coffee. I don't want to explore collaborations. I want to get on productive calls. So tell me, how do you help businesses get on productive calls?
Yeah, right on. Pretty simple, straightforward, to the point. We run really targeted ads. And when I say targeted ads, it's the secret sauce is not in your actual targeting settings. It's in the copywriting. It's in what you are saying in the ad, the video, the text that's paired with it. We have very specific copy that we will put out to, the ideal client that you're trying to reach. So for example, if you're trying to reach, dentists that are nearing the age of retirement, you would say, hey, if you're a dentist and you're about to sell your practice, that's how you're starting off the ad. So you're calling straight out to that audience. And then instead of what I would say a lot of people do when it comes to ads, which is promote lead magnets and little free things you could opt in for, and we just get straightforward to the point. We say, hey, look, if you're this type of person, you're struggling with this, this, and this, and you want XYZ results, here's how we could potentially help you. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how we could help you, click below, submit your information. You'll see a video on the next page showing a little bit more about what our service looks like. So now they're actually opting in with the intention of learning about your service and potentially seeing if it would be a good fit to work with you. They're not opting in to watch a case study. They're not watching in to be entertained and watch a free training. They're specifically watching it to see if they would be a good client of yours. And then the video is explaining exactly what it looks like to work with you in the eyes of the client, saying, hey, look, once again, welcome. I know that you're interested in this type of a service and achieving this sort of a result. Here's we're going to get a quick little overview on step 1. Here's how we help our clients. Step 2, here's how we help them. And step 3, here's how we help them. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, go ahead and book a call today. Obviously, there's more nuances than that, but in a high level, that's how it works. And they ideally, they book a call directly from that little funnel. And then, your sales team is going to sit back and ideally close a percentage of those calls that are geting booked. But in the case of
close
AI,
you're fired, basically, right?
Right. And then obviously
Close you're fired.
In the case of AI in this conversation, not everyone books a call directly from those videos. I'd say depending on the market, you might be looking at somewhere between 10 and 20% of people will, maybe as low as 5%. Let's say 5 to 20% of people that opt into your ad might book a call directly on that call booking page. But what about the 80 to 95% of people that don't? You need to be reaching out to them as well. And salespeople, I love them, but they're not usually working at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. They're not usually working on holidays. They're not usually working first thing in the morning on a Saturday or a Sunday. And oftentimes, if you have a sales team of 2-3 people, or especially if you're a small business owner and you're doing all the outreach yourself to all your incoming leads, you can't always get to everyone in the first 5 minutes of them submitting their information. And that's where we have found AI to work really, really well, is we're using AI to automatically reach out to every single new lead that opts in, saying, hey, Mark, man, just saw that you submitted your information. You're checking us out to see if you could maybe get some more qualified leads on your calendar. Hey, would this time, or this time tomorrow be good for a quick call? I'd be happy to give you all the details. And it's going to text you that. It's going to email you that. It'll even send you voicemails. And then you respond. You're like, yeah, tomorrow at 3 p.m. works great. And then it automatically sets that calendar invite. And that's another way that you can start booking more appointments. You don't have to just rely on those videos. You could also now rely on AI to be able to get you more booked appointments as well.
Freaking A. So AI appointment setting, again, the future, I think that everyone's trying to figure it out. And again, this is why I wanted to bring you on. I want to kind of work through the funnel just a little bit to have a better understanding of some of the numbers and figures in the funnel.
Sure.
Right. So someone sees the ad, we'll say they see the Facebook ad.
Yeah.
Right. And so we want to obviously pay attention to what percentage of those people click on the Facebook ad, which brings them to your landing page. Right. And on the landing page, walk me, kind of break that down a little bit more. So when someone lands on the landing page, are you immediately collecting information, name, email, phone number? When do you collect that data from the customer?
Great question. So we actually aren't sending people to a landing page first. We're using something called Facebook lead forms, or on Facebook lead forms is oftentimes what they're called. If you're setting up a Facebook campaign, all you got to do is set up it's called a lead gen campaign, or a Facebook lead generation campaign. And it's going to ask you how you'd like to collect those leads. It's going to say, would you like to collect them on your website or an instant form? And we just do the little instant form. And on those instant forms, here's why I like them. Not only can you collect the basics of name, number, email, maybe even company name if you're selling B2B, but we like to ask some custom qualifying questions as well. As you mentioned, you want qualified leads, not just people that are actually, just trying to exchange a business card or have a coffee with you and then try to reverse sell you on their stuff. So we'll usually ask some qualifying questions, usually 2. One is usually about their intention to potentially get their problem solved or potentially hire you for their service. And then the other one is usually going to indicate whether they're financially qualified to work with you. So for example, literally right now, I've got a car detailer outside that's working on my car, and he had hired me to help him out for like kind of a one-time set up a campaign. And he just turned on the campaign last night, and the lead form is collecting name, number, email, and zip code to make sure that they're in his serviceable zip code. And then the custom qualifying question says, which of the following services are you interested in? And he asks like, ceramic coating, paint correction, or mobile detailing. And then he also has another question that's a short form question that says, what's the year, make, and model of the vehicle you're interested in being serviced? He knows with a pretty high degree of certainty, if someone opts in and they've got a 97 Honda Civic, they are not going to be as financially qualified as the person with the 2007 Porsche Panamera or something, And so that's his way of being able to figure out if they're going to be more likely to be qualified. And literally this morning, he showed me as he pulled up to come get my keys. He's like, hey, man, just got the first lead. And I was like, well, I don't care about the lead. Like, was it qualified? He's like, yeah. He's like, the guy specifically wanted paint correction on his form. And then he also said that he had it was an Infiniti G37. And he's like, I texted him, and sure enough, the guy immediately was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Let's set up an appointment. And so it just makes it much more frictionless when the person has that much intention on the front end.
Yeah. And I think there's always a balance between asking a lot of questions, too many questions, and not asking enough. And that's why working with someone who's actually tested and understands this is important. So I like it. Okay. So before they even get off of Facebook, they're just answering a few quick, simple questions. But I'm also curious, again, not an expert in Facebook ads, is if you know the person on Facebook, Facebook has so much data on everybody. Are you privy to that information also? Or we're not getting that from Facebook yet?
What sort of information are you interested in acquiring?
I mean, I want to know what movies they like,
No,
where they live. Are they married, single, kids?
No, Facebook's not showing that from the lead forms. No, obviously Facebook knows that information, but no, they usually keep that stuff anonymous. And you let them do the heavy lifting. And that's why I was saying, like, just make your ad copy really specific, because the more specific it is, Facebook knows based on keywords that you say in your ads, they know who they should show that ad to. So just let them do the heavy lifting. Fair
enough. I mean, for Pete's sakes, Facebook knows when you have colon cancer before you even know it, right? It's pretty sophisticated. I don't want to go fully down that rabbit hole, but there's a lot of data out there, which is,
it's intense.
Frankly, going to be, I think this data is probably going to be one of the most important things, one of the most important facets when it comes to actually training AI models is that data and that user data. And that's kind of where I'd like to kind of get some more insights from you on how you're using AI chatbots to actually book these. Because what you're telling me is that a pretty large percentage in your case, in your situation, you're saying 80 to 95% of the people that fill out the form don't actually book an appointment. They don't actually move forward.
Correct.
Right. So we've got a drop off in the funnel. Everything's going nice, and all of a sudden the engagement drops off. So you're using AI to re-engage them. Walk me through how you're using AI to actually book that appointment.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the program that we use specifically is called WooSender. Now, there's a couple other sorts of programs out there. You can even custom code your own. I know a lot of people will try to custom code theirs with something called, I want to say it's called Zappy Chat, if I'm not mistaken. And then that connects you into ChatGPT and go high level. So there's multiple ways to do it. But we use something called WooSender. It's a great little platform, and all it does is you connect either your calendar or your entire sales team's calendars. It depends. Doesn't matter if you have a sales team of 1 or a sales team of 100. You add all of your salespeople in there, and they just connect to either their, I think it's like an Outlook calendar or a Google calendar, and then they'll be able to see what your availability is. And so then when a lead enters in their information, let's call it on Facebook, you zap that information on over to WooSender, and you say, hey, I want to subscribe this new lead into this pipeline or into this campaign. And WooSender is fully geared, like their entire platform is geared to find a time with your calendar availability and the prospect that they're reaching out to and try to get them to book a call. And you could customize the messaging. So there's a little bit of manual effort that you can put into it as well, just to make sure it's on brand to you. And so if you want some super long paragraph, you could do that. If you want to send a one-liner like, hey, Joe, does this time, or this time work? Like, you could do that, but you're probably going to have a low response rate. Anyway, it will pull times directly from your calendar availability. And so let's just say that tomorrow I have 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. available on my calendar. And you, Mark, enter in your information on my ad right now. You'd be getting a text saying, hey, Mark, just saw you submitted your info, and you wanted to learn about X, Y, and Z. Would tomorrow at 10, 3, or 4 p.m. work for a quick call? I'd be happy to get you all the information you're looking for. And let's just say that you respond, you're like, hey, man, I'm actually busy tomorrow. Can we do next Monday at 9 a.m.? It would then go back and look through my calendar next Monday, and it would either say, yeah, that totally works. No problem. I'll get you down now. And it would automatically send over a calendar invite. Or it would say, hey, so sorry, just saw that I'm actually busy at that time. And it would then send out a couple of alternate calendar availabilities or calendar options at that point as well. So that's roughly how it works. And once again, it is sending both text messages and emails. And it'll continue following up. It depends how many days you want it to follow up for. We have it set to follow up for a couple weeks. Like, we're dogs. we just want to go for it, because I'd much rather put too much effort into it than not enough,
Yeah, well, in long scale nurture campaigns, I think is where the money's at, right? You know, we meet someone once, we don't just want to follow up with them twice. We want to follow up with them twice, 3 times a month for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
right? I'm with you there. Well, because also, just a no now doesn't mean not never,
Right.
so we got to stay engaged. But I'm also curious, where does the AI actually pick up here? Because I think there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of tools out there that claim that they're AI, but it's not really AI. Like why does the AI increase the conversions here with WooSender when
Great
I could
question.
just set it up to anytime someone fills out the form, the bot just reaches out and says, hey, you see the filled out the form, these are the times that are available. Like, how does the AI actually increase the conversion?
Specifically, and this is my assumption. Now, we've been using this platform for a little over a year now, and we have found that consistently, it does not matter if you're selling higher ticket B2B services, or if you're a local business and you're still trying to get appointments. We've used this for everything across the board. Consistently, I would say on a low end, you're looking at an additional 20%. So if you take 100 leads, consistently 20 of those people will book directly through WooSender. And then whatever your VSL and everything can do on top of that's great. So we actually are seeing a higher booking rate from it. But the reason why I think this is working better than most people's like text or email nurture campaigns is because you're going straight forward to the point. It's very conversational. It's not sending some super long formatted email and then sending you a link to go ahead and book. It's conversational and keeping the appointments, I would say, in an organic way in the text message. So instead of saying, hey, Mark, so you're interested. Hey, here's my calendar availability if you'd like to get something booked. Instead, it's pulling in direct time slots that I have available saying, hey, dude, I could do tomorrow at this time, or this time, which works best for you. And you could respond with like the number 3 without even saying a PM. And it's going to recognize that that was one of the options that was actually available. And if not, then once again, it would then be like, hey, I don't think I have that available. Can you specify XYZ? It's just more conversational. It seems like it's more of a human touch point. Obviously, it comes across as a green text message, which is an immediate distrust for me. I wish we could have them send those blue iPhone text messages. But
interesting.
Anyway, yeah, I just think it's more conversational. No one has to leave the text message to get the appointment booked. It'll automatically send the calendar invite for you just because it pulled in their email from your lead form. That's my guess. Because technically speaking, I think that's the only part that's AI, is that it's a little bit more conversational than you just sending a spray and pray message and hoping that someone clicks on that link inside of your text and then wants to generate the conversation or book an appointment. It's just way easier.
I like it. And that's kind of the promise. That's the utopia, as it were, with AI, is how can I leverage custom information to deliver a custom response?
Right.
Because the generic stuff just doesn't convert as well. That's the real power, I think, of where we are with advertising in the modern world. It's not just running an ad and putting it on a bench or putting it on TV and trying to reach 1 million people. It's, hey, I want to reach a specific subset of people. And I'm just constantly kind of interested in how AI is actually executing on that. So with this particular tool with WooSender, it specifically wants to get appointments for you, right? It's not really focused on, hey, finish your cart.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know where you're going with this. And I think that's honestly the biggest flaw of the program, because it's a pre-built program. And so, you can't go in and rewrite the language or train the AI in any sort of a different way. That's the biggest flaw for me. I wish that, we could actually train it to ask a couple further qualifying questions first and then book the appointment after a few questions have been answered. I've seen a couple other AI programs that are doing that right now, but I don't know that they are, let's say it like this. The data that I've seen from them, they don't have as high appointment set rates at the end of the day.
Interesting.
And so I'm waiting for those to surpass what we're seeing with WooSender right now. I'm not married to the platform, man. I'm just married to, I don't care to be right. I just want to make money.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think that's WooSender's honestly biggest downfall and biggest area of improvement is I would love for them to be able to train for more goals than simply just setting an appointment. I wish they could say, hey, we want to make sure that they'll actually show up for their appointment. And like they'll send follow-ups and everything leading up to an appointment. They'll send all the reminders. All that's great. But it's only smart at doing one thing, which is booking the appointments, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. It depends, I guess, on your sales process and your sales system. I mean, obviously we would like to have stuff sold without any salespeople, but if you've got a higher ticket offer, it's I think oftentimes more difficult to do that. A lot of sales, like almost nobody buys from me without talking to me.
Yeah. Same.
Right. So what's interesting to me is, how do I get on more calls with qualified buyers? WooSender seems like a good way of doing that. Do they have a plugin that lands on your website too? So if someone's on your website and they're kind of poking around, they don't actually fill out any information. I'd like to have a way of engaging them because they're on my website. They're a hot lead because they're on my website poking around. Mm-hmm. Have you played with anything for, like chatbot AI chatbot engagement on websites?
Great question. We looked into that whenever we first signed up with the platform. I want to say this was last May or last June. And so it was a while ago. And they had said that there was a possibility to make it work, but I don't know that the functionality was ready yet. I don't know if it was something that they were just going to be able to, kind of custom code for us and work with us there. Cause I don't remember us being able to actually just go install it on any website right away. That was definitely not going to be the case. They might've had an update since then, but to our knowledge, I'm not aware of that.
Fair. Well, and I think this is the thing that every business owner that's using AI is thinking about is, how do I use AI to give a better experience and not give a worse experience? Because bad AI just annoys people.
100%.
Right? Bad chatbots annoy people. Which, by the way, I saw if you ever get stuck in a loop where you're speaking to like a chatbot, or you're on an automated call with a robot or something.
Yeah.
If I don't curse typically, but if you start cursing at the bot, it'll immediately get you to a human. So just a quick, I will, I'm not going to tell you to go around saying the F word, but in that case, you want to use if you really need a human, you got time. If you drop the F word, you'll get a human quickly. So just put it out there.
Understood.
Just put it out there. I'll give,
Understood.
I'm not your judge, jury, and executioner, but if you use the F word in that type of circumstance, I'll allow it.
Yeah, it might just be the password to unlock the door to the real human.
It does. I've actually tried it before. I was sitting there on my phone and I'm like, I really don't want to say the F word, but I've been on hold. I've been dealing with this bot 5 times. I've been working with the AT&T bot for a half hour. You know what? I'm just going to say it and let's see what happens. And it worked. I got a human 3 minutes later. That. Well, 30 seconds later. Yeah.
Nice.
Super cool. And by the way, later on today, I have a meeting with the developers for closebot.ai. And so I'm excited to see how that works out because that's what their kind of thing is. Chatbot on the website, engage, book appointments, buy the thing, FAQs. I do have one more question for you in your workflow here, Zach. So you're getting all this data in, it's trying to book the appointments. Is that data also going into your CRM?
Yep.
How are you managing that data and for that client? Are you putting them into long-term nurture campaigns? What does that look like?
Yeah, we do it all, man. Like at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that there's no possible way that balls are getting dropped ever. And obviously like that's a perfect utopia. There's always going to be somewhere that opportunities are slipping through the cracks. But I would say a typical campaign or workflow is going to be once someone opts in to the ad, whether they book a call or not, immediately their information is getting zapped on over into WooSender. It's also getting zapped on over into the client's CRM. So that way their salespeople can start working deals if they would like to, maybe doing some manual outbound. It's also immediately getting sent on over into their, like if they have email nurture sequences set up, sometimes their CRM and their email marketing platforms are different platforms. So it'll go to their email marketing system if they need to. It'll also get zapped on over just for a fail safe. We always put it into a Google sheet as well, just in case if they ever need to, if something ever happened to their active campaign or their CRM or whatever, I just want to make sure that they have a spot that they own all of the data and they don't have to do some sort of a weird export. So anyway, we send it to a multitude of places just to make sure that every single spot that they would be working leads from or need to find the leads information that they have it. Does that make sense?
Does totally make sense. That it did. And even, by the way, y'all, even if you're at the beginning stages of your journey and you don't have a CRM yet, I'm rooting for you to get to that point.
Yeah.
Save the data.
Yeah.
You could create a Google sheet for free.
Yes.
Save the data.
Yep.
Because one day you're going to need it. You're welcome. Your future self is going to thank you when you have all that data, when you're ready. Y'all, we've been talking to Zach Hesterberg from HesterbergConsulting.com. Zach, where's the best place for us to find you?
Yeah. Me personally, man, I'm pretty active on both Facebook and on Instagram. just my normal name, man. Zach Hesterberg. You can find me, send me a personal friend request, or shoot me a follow, shoot me a message. Also, like, this is one thing I'm a big fan of. Like, podcasts are not easy to run. And anyone that's listening to this, just as a way to support Mark, I would love if you want to take a screenshot of the device that you're listening to this on, post it on your stories, tag me and tag Mark. Number one, I'm sure he'd be thankful for it. It'd be a way to share the show. But also, I'd love to personally gift you something, whether that's a book, whether it's a free video I can send you, like a Loom video, kind of diagnosing your ads or whatever, like some sort of customized value to you. And I say this before I have any idea what his audience size is. So if he has a million downloads an episode, I'm going to be swamped for the next few months. But regardless, I would genuinely love to send some sort of customized piece of value to each and every single person that tags us on Instagram.
Boom. You heard it here first. And by the way, I can't promise this, but Zach was very generous with his time when I first spoke to him, which is why I brought him on the show. Because I was like, Zach, you are blowing my mind with what you're doing with AI to close more appointments. And that's why we brought him on. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the story. That's the deal. You got it. Now go out and execute. Zach, thanks for joining the show.
Appreciate it.